In most towns and cities in the southeast, there are plaques, memorials and statues to their most famous sons and daughters.
But one great hero and pioneer is all but forgotten, and there are growing calls to give him a more lasting memorial. Derek Johnson has this week's Hidden History.
This training session with black and white footballers is a common sight today, but the first black professionals were greeted with racism. Among them a man who rose above the prejudice, Walter Tull.
Walter was born in Folkestone from mixed race parents. His father from Barbados and his wife, being a local lady, had 5 children, of which Walter was one of them.
At the age of 9, Walter had to leave the home he loved after his parents died. He was sent to an orphanage where he began playing football. Skillful and tough, he joined Tottenham Hotspur as a midfielder, making his debut in 1909, becoming the first black outfield player in the country. 10 games later, he was dropped.
He's suffered tremendously when he's played with Spurs. For instance, when he played against Bristol, every time the ball rose to him, the crowd uproar in racial abuse.
Britain was at the height of its kind of imperial conquest. You know, they were colonising Africa, and one of the justifications was saying that, well, you know, Africans are less evolved than whites, and you know, we have to kind of civilise them. So the kind of mental image that people had of Africans and black people was that they were inferior to whites.
Walter then moved to Northampton Town, where he played more than 100 games. When the First World War broke out, he joined up straight away, and the soccer star was posted to France. Soon the leadership qualities he showed on the pitch shone through, and he was made a second lieutenant.
He personally embodied a contradiction, because at the time the Manual of Military Law stated that no soldiers of non-European descent could hold rank and give orders.
Why then did Walter Tull's superior officers decide to ignore the rule book and accept him as one of their own?
I think there was a shortage of personnel with the qualities to lead men. Walter obviously had those qualities. They saw that in him. They didn't see the colour of his skin, they saw the qualities of the man.
Unlike black soldiers from Commonwealth countries serving alongside him on the Western Front, Walter was noticed. He became the first black soldier to lead white troops into battle and was recommended for a military cross. The achievements of this remarkable man are still studied today in his hometown.
And you're going to be piecing together evidence from the past. They're clues that could have been left behind by this man. So
these Year 9 pupils at Folkestone School for Girls are learning about Walter Tull during their history class.
Clearly he must have been an exceptional person to have broken through the taboo to become the first officer.
I think that he was a really great man as he fought for our country.
I think he should be remembered because he was the first black officer for Britain and he saved loads of people's lives.
But the Army's most distinguished black soldier did not survive the war. In 1918, Walter fought in the Second Battle of the Somme. He died on the 25th of March, aged just 29.
He's always had something special about him. Something very special about him. Even when he was shot in no man's land in the Battle of the Somme, I mean, his colleague tried desperately to recover his body.
Walter is remembered to this day by his descendants, most of whom still live in Kent. The family often skim through photographs, wondering what life would have been like for the footballer, officer and gentleman. In many ways, he's still with them.
I've always been like my mother and my mother's sister, you know, like Uncle Walter, as we've seen from photographs. I mean, yes, there is that resemblance, and I think it goes further down, you know, into the family from my grandchildren.
Many would now like to see this forgotten hero given the honours he's due.
It's a debt that the Army and we as a country owe to Tull to award him posthumously his military cross.
I think they should pay some recognition to the man. Certainly Folkestone should do something, whether it be, you know, a memorial to him, whether it be a plaque.
But there is a lasting legacy for the man who broke down barriers on and off the pitch. He paved the way for black footballers today. Derek Johnson for Meridian Tonight.